All right, we are back on the record in the matter of license number R 883-149, case number 2020-0401. Counselor, do we have some preliminary matters to deal with on this?
We do, and for that, I would call Floyd Wiley.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this call to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name for the record,
Floyd Wiley,
and in what capacity are you here today?
bailiff.
And have you made a determination of whether Rebecca Adams is present and available for her hearing?
Yes, I have.
And what have you done to make that determination?
I checked the visitor's log on our floor. She has not signed in. I checked the respondent sign-in sheet on the first floor. She has not signed in. I went to the front of the building, called her name 5 times with no response. I went to the back of the building, called her name 5 times with no response.
Thank you, Mr. Wiley. I now direct your attention to Exhibit B2, not yet entered into evidence. Would you identify that for the record, please?
Is a computer printout of the licensure of Rebecca Adams.
Okay, and on this Exhibit B2, is there a primary address indicated?
Yes, it is.
And would you please recite the addresses and email address, if listed, on Exhibit B2?
Okay, that is 2545 Mission Hill Road, Weston, Mississippi, 39191. Her email address is Becca, BECCA, Lee, LEIGH, SMI @gmail.com.
Thank you, Mr. Wiley. I would now direct your attention to Exhibit B5, not yet entered into evidence. Would you please identify for the record Exhibit B5?
It's the notice of hearing the complaint for Rebecca Adams.
Thank you. And at what time and location is this notice of hearing directing Ms. Adams to appear?
It is directing her to be here today, Wednesday, October the 7th, 2020 at 8:30 a.m.
Okay, and can you confirm, in looking at the front page of Exhibit B5, the notice of hearing, that the addresses indicated indeed match the addresses you previously recited from Exhibit B2?
Yes, the addresses are the same.
Thank you.
Screen card goes with this one.
I would now direct your attention to the final pages of Exhibit B5, not yet entered into evidence. Let's start with the green card that can be found. Would you please identify that for the record?
It's a green card to prove of service that the complaint was delivered to Rebecca Adams.
At what address?
The same address, the 2545 Mission Hill Road in Weston, Mississippi.
Okay, and so you can confirm that there is a signature as if to indicate delivered.
Yes, there is a signature on the card.
Thank you. Can you also confirm that the certified mail number affixed to the green card matches the certified mail number on the front page of Exhibit B5, notice of hearing?
Yes, the numbers do match.
Very good, thank you. Now, Mr. Wiley, I would also ask, just out of a matter of creating a record, I've also included within the exhibits to be admitted into evidence a USPS tracking sheet. Would you please go to that now? Do you see that?
Yes, I see it.
Okay. Can you confirm that the tracking sheet was in fact printed from US? Can you confirm that this is indeed a USPS tracking sheet?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Can you now confirm that the tracking number indicated matches the tracking number on both the notice of hearing Exhibit B5 as well as the green card to which you were just referring?
Yes, all three of the numbers are the same.
Excellent. Can you now please identify for the record the status as indicated by the USPS tracking sheet?
It was delivered.
Thank you, Mr. Wiley. At this time, the state would move to proceed with this matter as all statutory requirements for notice have been met.
You may proceed.
Thank you. The state would move that exhibits B1 through B12 be admitted into evidence.
They're admitted.
Thank you. The state would rest on its pleadings. As a matter of record, the state would actually like to introduce an additional correspondence to Ms. Adams. I neglected to do so earlier. My apology. For that, I would like to resume my questioning, Mr. Wiley.
Go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Wiley, this is what I'm showing you now, an email printout that has not been designated for admission to exhibits, but I would like to show this to you and ask you some questions regarding this. So let's take a look, beginning with the earlier one. Could you please identify just what it is that you're looking at?
It's an email from Wesley Mutziker to Rebecca Adams.
Okay, and to Rebecca Adams, you know that because you can confirm that the email address listed in the 2 column indeed matches the email address that you previously identified on Exhibit B2. Is that accurate?
Yes, it's the same address on the printout of the licensure of Rebecca Adams.
Okay, and what date does this email appear to be sent?
Friday, October the 2nd, 2020.
And would you please read the content of the email?
The status, the importance marked was high. Ms. Adams, please see the attached virtual hearing instructions for your virtual hearing before the Mississippi Board of Nursing on today's date, Wednesday, October the 7th, 2020 at 8:30 a.m. Please advise if you intend to have any witnesses testify on your behalf.
Thank you, Mr. Wiley. I would now show you the next communication. If you would identify that for the board, please.
It's another email from Wesley Mutziker to Rebecca Adams.
Dated on what date?
October the 7th, 2020. I'm sorry, it's Tuesday, October the 6th, 2020.
And in fact, it is the subject that says disciplinary hearing October 7th. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And now would you please read the content of that email?
Once again, importance level high. Ms. Adams, please see the attached exhibits in anticipation of your formal disciplinary hearing this Wednesday, October the 7th, 2020 at 8:30 a.m.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wiley. And that would conclude the state's presentation of evidence and would again rest on its pleadings.
All right, thank you, counsel. So that concludes this matter.
Yes.
The next matter before the board, license number R909765, case number 2018-1001. Preliminary matters on this matter, counsel?
Yes, there are, or rather there is a preliminary matter which I wish to address now. And for that, I call Mr. Floyd Wiley.
Excuse me. Solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this cause to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God.
Yes.
Just one moment, please. One moment, my apologies. I do need to go off the record. It's done. Okay. Where were we, court reporter? I haven't asked you any questions yet. Okay. I'll just begin with the examination of Mr. Wiley. Thank you, though.
You hadn't really asked anything.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, please state your name for the record.
Floyd Wiley,
And in what capacity are you here today?
bailiff.
Have you made a determination of whether Carly Fairchild is present and available for her hearing?
Yes, I have.
And what have you done to make that determination?
I went to the front of the building, called her name 5 times with no response. I went to the back of the building, called her name 5 times with no response. I checked the visitor sign-in sheet here on our 3rd floor. She has not signed in. I checked the respondent sign-in sheet, and she has not signed in.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wiley. Let's go off the record. Thank you. Further, Mr. Wiley, have you taken any additional steps to ensure that Ms. Fairchild has not appeared virtually before this board today?
Yes, I have. I looked on the computer and she was not attending the Zoom meeting.
Okay, so you looked, in fact, on the computer that is responsible for hosting the Zoom meeting by the board today, is that correct?
That is correct.
And you found no one matching the name of Carly Fairchild?
That is correct.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Wiley, I would now direct your attention Exhibit B2, not yet entered into the record. Would you please identify for the record Exhibit B2?
There's a computer printout of the licensure of Carly Fairchild.
Okay, and is there a primary address indicated as well as an email address indicated on Exhibit B2?
Yes, it is. The address is 12511 Road 602, Carthage, Mississippi. The email is carly_Fairchild@yahoo.com.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wiley. And now direct your attention to Exhibit B5, which has not yet been admitted into evidence. And I am going to take you to the most recent complaint notice of hearing contained in Exhibit B5. And so can you now confirm that what I've handed you is a complaint and notice of hearing directed to one Carly Fairchild?
Yes, it is.
And at what time and location, and in fact, at what time and location is it directing Ms. Fairchild to appear?
It is directing her to appear here at the Board of Nursing today, Wednesday, October the 7th, 2020 at 8:30 a.m.
Okay, thank you. And I now want to direct your attention to what is behind Exhibit B5, the July 21st, 2020 complaint notice of hearing. And would you identify for the record that, please?
Okay, this is a letter addressed to Carly Fairchild that was returned to the board, unable to deliver.
And can you confirm that the address matches the address on the front page of Exhibit B5, also matching Exhibit B2?
Yes, the addresses are the same.
Thank you. Can you also confirm the certified mail number, in fact, matches the certified mail number on the front page of Exhibit B5 dated July 21, 2020?
The numbers are the same.
Okay, thank you. I would now hand you, Mr. Wiley, another attachment which has not been included to be admitted into evidence, but I shall include that. And would you identify it for the record, please?
It's a USPS tracking document.
Okay, in this USPS tracking document, is there a tracking number listed?
Yes, it is.
And can you in fact verify that the tracking number listed matches the tracking number at the bottom of the page of Exhibit B5, the July 21 notice of hearing?
Yes, the numbers do match.
And to whom is that certified mail directed?
To Ross Barnett Jr.
Okay, and Mr. Wiley, could you please now for the record identify the status listed on the USPS tracking?
It is marked as delivered.
Okay, thank you. Next, Mr. Wiley, I want to direct your attention to Exhibit B13, not yet entered into evidence. Would you please identify for the record Exhibit B13?
It is proof of publication.
And can you please identify in what publication?
The Carthaginian.
Okay, and to whom is this publication directed, and at what location is it directing this person to appear?
It's directed to Carly Fairchild, and it is requesting her presence here at the Board of Nursing on October the 7th, 2020 at 8:30 a.m.
Thank you. And can you also confirm that this was indeed published for 3 consecutive weeks? And if so, please identify those for the record.
Yes, it was on September the 3rd, 2020, 8th, 2020, also September the 10th, 2020, September the 11th, 2020.
All right, and actually that is, okay, yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wiley. So in fact, for 4 consecutive weeks. Okay, next, I will ask your attention be directed to Exhibit B12. Would you identify for the record Exhibit B12?
It's an agreed order continuance to the Barnett Law Firm.
Okay, so in fact, would you agree that in examining Exhibit B12, this does identify counsel for the respondent as Ross Barnett Jr.?
Yes, that is correct.
Thank you. And looking further at Exhibit B12, in fact, going to the attachments behind Exhibit B12, is there correspondence from the Barnett Law Firm?
Yes, it is.
Okay, to whom is that correspondence directed?
It's directed to Wesley Mutziker.
Okay, would you please read for the record the first page of correspondence dated dated June 8th, 2020.
It says, dear Mr. Mutziker, please cancel the hearing set in the above matter for June 17, 2020 at 8:30 a.m. I cannot reach my client at this present time, and I would appreciate it very much if we could reset the hearing for a later date. I would only be able to speculate as to her whereabouts, but I trust the answer would be a positive one.
Thank you. I would now direct your attention to the later correspondence dated July 15th. If you would, please now read that into the record.
Okay, dear Mr. Mutziker, I cannot agree to the setting of the case on July 23rd, 2020, or any date because I am unable to reach my client. I have called her phone probably at least 10 to 12 times in the last 20 days without any success. I have written her through the U.S. Postal Service, and I have emailed her without any response. I would have no objection to whatever the Board of Nursing would do with this matter, but would only hope my client will be able to reapply at a later date for assistance.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wiley. And lastly, I would direct you to some email communications between myself and Ms. Fairchild. I would direct you to those now. Would you please identify this first page, please?
It's an email from Wesley Mutziker to Carly Fairchild.
Okay, and Mr. Wiley, would you please, and if you need a moment to refresh, I see Exhibit B2 there. Can you confirm that the email address indicated here does in fact match the email address provided in Exhibit B2?
The addresses do match.
Thank you. Now, would you please identify the date, and you may have already done so, of the email communication?
Friday, October the 2nd, 2020.
Okay, now if you would please recite the contents of the communication for the record.
The importance level is marked high. Ms. Fairchild, I am unable to communicate via email with your attorney. Ms. Barnett, I am forwarding your virtual instructions for your upcoming hearing. Please see the attached virtual hearing instructions for your virtual hearing for the Mississippi Board of Nursing, Wednesday, October the 7th, 2020 at 8:30 a.m.
Thank you. And now would you please identify the subsequent communication, beginning with the date of the communication, following with the content?
Okay, another email from Wesley Mutziker to Carly Fairchild on Tuesday, October the 6th, 2020. Importance level high. Ms. Fairchild, and I am unable to communicate with your attorney via email. Please see the attached exhibits in anticipation of your formal disciplinary hearing this Wednesday, October the 7th, 2020 at 8:30 a.m.
And thank you, Mr. Wiley. At this time, the board would move that all statutory requirements for notice have been met and would move to proceed with the case.
You may proceed.
Thank you. The state would move that exhibits B1 through B14 be admitted into evidence.
They're admitted.
Thank you. The state would rest on its pleadings.
Thank you, Counselor. Anything further on this matter?
Nothing further.
All right, I'll entertain a motion at this time for closed determinations regarding matters for license numbers R883149 and R909765. It's been moved and properly seconded. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously. We'll entertain a motion for the panel to enter into executive session regarding the same matters. It's been moved and properly seconded. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. The motion passes unanimously. The board will now exit to executive session. We are back on the record. I will entertain a motion to return to regular session.
I'll make a motion. I will second it.
It's been moved and properly seconded. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Motion carries unanimously. We are back in regular session. The board panel deliberated and rendered the following decisions on these matters. License number R883149. This license is revoked. License number R909765. This license is revoked. Council, do we have anything else before the board today?
Nothing further for today.
All right. Board members, everyone else, we thank